Welcome to the Fast Track Listening Program. The ideas presented here are intended to assist in developing a strong and profitable business for IBOs, powered by Amway and affiliated with Marker Man Productions. Enjoy the following message.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. It has been an exciting week. Many things that have gone on, but we're super excited to be here for a number of reasons. You know, it's a mutual respect club that we have because for many years, Alicia and I have watched this couple, Bob and Sue, and watched what they've done and watched their team and watched the business grow and watched MMP and New Jersey and everything that's happening with that. We know we got some exciting things happening in this area. I was on the phone with Jody last night for about an hour. Actually over an hour, and we were just talking about everything with the business, where it is and what's happening. And there's another special reason that we're pretty excited to be here tonight. We didn't even tell Bob and Sue about this, but today is our anniversary. Not our anniversary married. That's in August, and that'll be 42 years of marriage. But this today, exactly today, is our 40th year in this business. So I just thought it was so nice of Bob and Sue to put together a party for us in New Jersey. And we had a lot of people ask us, could you come and, we'll celebrate? We decided New Jersey. So we're here for a reason. And I got to tell you something about Bob and I. Bob and I and Gary Coles especially, we all three are constantly in trouble with Kathy Victor. And at the Diamond meetings and at Diamond dinners, they don't even allow Bob and I to sit next to each other. And she told me, she said, would you tell Bob to please behave this weekend? So I'm passing that along. I told her, I said, Bob and I behave? Are you kidding? It's something I read recently. I read to her. I thought maybe would help her understand why Bob and I are the way we are. Would you like to know why Bob is the way he is? Let me explain it to you. We grew up about the same time. So as children, we saw Tarzan swing through the jungle half naked. Cinderella arrived home after her curfew, and the prince came and got her out. Pinocchio told fibs and was rewarded with a book deal. Aladdin was a thief and got a cool magic lamp. Batman drove 200 miles an hour. Snow White lived in a house with 7 men. Popeye smoked a pipe and had tattoos. Pac-Man ran around to digital music while eating pills that enhanced his performance. And Shaggy and Scooby were mystery-solving hippies that always had the munchies. And you think it's strange that Bob and I are somewhat unusual and naughty? No, I tell you, we are excited to be here, and an exciting time for us. And it's a lot of things that the month of May has been landmarks for us in many ways. But the biggest one, a 40-year journey that has just resulted in an incredible life that we've been able to have because of this business. And as equally important as the success, financial, is the people and friends and people we've gotten to know and care about so much. And many of you, as I look around this room, I see so many faces that I know and have known for years. And we've been all over the place, a lot of islands together and a lot of fun weekends and things like that. So we're here to share with you tonight. I don't think there's anything we're going to teach you because you've got great leaders that already teach you about the business. What our goal here to do is maybe get you to believe more in you, believe more in the business, and maybe a little bit of motivation and gasoline to throw on the fire to get you to get out there and get after it again. Because weekends like this is what got our business always going. And we'd, drag into a weekend sometimes to hear a speaker and get our engines fired back up. But I'll tell you what, as I said in August, being married to this lady for 42 years, she has been the most incredible partner a man could ever ask for. running with me, stepping out of her comfort zone so many times. Unbelievable, because I would out there charging and she'd be right there with me. So to be able to have the life we've had has been so much fun and so enjoyable. But who she is, she makes me everything I am. So please welcome Alicia.
Thank you. Well, hi, everybody. So glad to be with my East Coast buddies. Wow. Yeah. Yes, it's been an extremely crazy last 48 hours. I'll tell you a little bit more about that tonight. But we are here and we are excited to share and be with you guys. You know, that's the beauty of this business. It just brings people together. Anybody watch the royal wedding this morning? Come on. Yeah, it was kind of cool. Anybody up that early? Of course, we can all, DVR it, but I caught glimpses of it between getting ready this morning. And who doesn't love a good fairy tale, right? I mean, with all the negative out there, was that just beautiful, the coming together of so many people and so many cultures? And gosh, I thought it was exciting. And I guess this business is the closest we commoners can come to royalty, But we can choose to build our kingdom or our team as big as we want to. So, we can live in the houses we want to. We can travel the world we want to. We can do anything we want to if we're willing to do what it takes to build a big business. But the royals even have some of the same challenges we do. I heard that Prince William was out in the crowd and he was visiting with everybody, and all of a sudden he looked around and he goes, "I think I need a babysitter." And of course, he didn't really need a babysitter, but how many of us, we were ready to go to a function and we go, "Oh my gosh, the babysitter canceled at the last minute." So, we can relate a little bit. So, well, what do I want to tell you guys this evening? So much of life has happened to us in this last year. I turned 65. Whoa! Wow, with health insurance, that was $1,000 a month increase right there in income. And I had a little bit of mixed emotions about that. I've been involved recently with a women's Christian group, and it's called If Gathering. And we were all discussing, and we were all sitting around a table, and there were gals of all ages sitting there, and we were talking about what season of life we were in. And when you get to my age, people start saying, "Yeah, she's in the winter, I think." But, I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm in the spring of my life. Because it's a whole new journey. It's a whole new venture. It's a whole new avenue of, what the possibilities are out there. And, children are grown, and now you have more freedom to go and pursue some of those things that you didn't when you had a family and that sort of thing. And so as you guys think about what season of your business you're in, what season of your life you are in, always look at it as a renewal time. It does not have to be the same as it's always been. It can be different for every one of you. And I know for myself, sometimes we get stuck in that rut or that holding pattern where we think things will never change. But things will change if you look at the season of your life as a renewal or as a springtime. As I was thinking over the week what I wanted to talk to you guys about, I wrote this down. Projects give us purpose for our friendships. The longer we stick with the project, the deeper the friendship, the more connected we become, the more loyal we become, especially if we're all committed to becoming better. Projects bring us together, but people give us purpose. Projects bring us together, but people bring us purpose. And as I think about the business, you know, when we first got in, 40 years ago today was not a happy day. I was not wanting to get in this business, and as I recall, 40 years ago today, I threw the checkbook at Jeff and said, fine, go ahead and do it, I don't care. So a lot has changed in 40 years. But, you know, as I think back, it was never the products or the plan that moved us. It was always the people. It was always the connections. And sometimes in this business, we tend to focus so much on the mechanics of the business. Do I know the right numbers? Can I show the plan? Do I know enough about artistry? Do I know enough about, you know, the nutritional stuff? And then you get all this stuff on you, and you forget that it's not about that. It's about the people. It's about the friendships. It's about the connections. If you think about it, you know, in high school and college, education was the project. That's what you were there for. But when you look back on those years, what do you remember? The friends, the parties, the fun. Raising a family, that's kind of the project, you know, to raise kids and that sort of thing. But when you look back at it, you think about the moms and dads you went to baseball games with, and, you know, the people that were your kids' best friends' parents. And those were the things that, when you look back, that's what you remember. Sports, same thing. You know, the sport is actually the project. But the guys and gals on the team were what made you really want to go to practice every day. Church activities, the same thing, you know. I know I pour my heart out sometimes into an event that our church might be putting on. But then when I think back on it, it wasn't the event. It was those friendships that were formed. And it's the same way. This business is the project. But you guys are the people that make it work. And the friendships that you build here are what make it what it is. And the more people you bring in to that circle, the bigger your business is, the bigger your profit is, the more money you make. Our business was the project, and we learned so much together. I remember some of the first artistry sessions. Do you gals, you do any artistry things where you get together with gals? Well, you know, I never knew very much about makeup. And it was like, really? You're expecting me to put on, and everybody wanted me to do it. Well, I didn't know nothing about it, but, you know, I got in there and I started doing stuff. And but we learned together. We formed such close friendships, and we laughed together. And you know, all this strife that's out there in the world between peoples, our business can fix it because we learn to walk next to each other. We share our families, we share our love and our laughter, and that's what it's all about, showing the plan. I remember the first time that somebody said, well, do girls show the plan? And I'm like, yeah, Jeff's pushing me out there. Okay, I'll show the plan. And one of my good buddies on the team was Japanese, and she couldn't speak any English. I couldn't speak any Japanese, and she always had all the questions. And I was like, okay, we'll figure this out some way. But, you know, we laughed, and we had so much fun. And so what I'm telling you guys is it's the connections that count, that build this business. It's the people loving and building friendships with other people. I find today, as I'm, you know, walking through life, getting a little older, I find that young people, I don't know if it's just young people, I think it's everybody, wants to be more connected. But in this social network life that we're in, we we have become really more disconnected. So what I would encourage you to do is start looking for how to connect to people. And whatever form that is, don't make it be about your best way to connect, because you have to look at it as their favorite way to connect. I know some friends that don't want to talk on the phone anymore. So we text back and forth. I mean, I could write a novel for how much we text back and forth, because that's their way of connecting. And that's okay, because I can adapt. I can change. And so can you. So if their way of connecting is by actually a phone conversation, then do a phone conversation. If it's by email, do an email. When I'm on social media and I find people on my team or people that I think might be potential people for my team, I try to always find ways to connect with them with something positive to say that will be meaningful to them. So instead of saying just happy birthday, I might think of something that's happened in their life recently and add a little bit of that to it, or private message them and say something. Or if I know they've been having a difficulty in their life somewhere, I might send them a message of something I've read in a book recently that hit me as something that was really helpful. And I find that I have just learned a whole new pathway in how to connect with people. And that's what's going to build your team. That is what's going to make people want to be with you and want to have that magic that you have. How appropriate for our business, really? You know, person, one-on-one contact, that desire for connection. But in that desire for connection, you might get hurt. You might get rejected. Somebody might tell you no to the business. But it's the hard work of continuing to form those connections and working on those relationships that will build a huge team. This business offers the fairy tale if you're willing to do the hard work of connecting through a project. The project is the business, and being committed to the friendships that will endure. And you know, as I look back over my life, I could not have asked for a more fulfilling life. This business has taken us to beaches and oceans and places I never would have gone as a social worker. But to get those things, you have to put in the hard work. And I think you guys are up for the task. I think you know what it takes. And I think you want those connections too. I think you want real friendships and real loyalty rather than the kind that is just a passing phase on an internet. So I'm excited to be with you this first session. I'll be back in a little bit, but right now I'm going to turn it over to my man, the Jeff Fine.
All right, super, good job. Thank you. She has been incredible. What a motivator. Sometimes with verbal motivation, sometimes with her right foot. But she has been a great motivator for many years. You know, we talked recently at just a special time. Her and I were together, and we just got visiting. And I was just telling her how much, you know, because of the business and the influence of the business, it has been such a benefit for our marriage. And I was not the kind of person looking back that I am today proud of. I was very self-centered when we got in this business, and I was very much me, and selfish. I would even go to that point. And being in the business, coming to weekends like this, is what changed me and what made me begin to understand more of the person I could be and the person I ultimately found out I really wanted to be. And so first off tonight, I'd like to congratulate all of you. You could have been a lot of other places tonight than driving the distance you drove to come over here to sit for an evening and listen to a couple from St. Louis come up and share with you some of their life. But I just don't see it happening too many other places in life where you're actually able to listen, benefit yourself personally, grow personally, and begin to focus more on who you are and, more importantly, who you want to be. And Jody always says this business is the greatest self-help project that there ever is. And it is, because we're always evaluating where we're at, where we want to go, and what do we got to change to be able to get there. And boy, that's the biggest thing, change. So I guess the first question I would ask, how many of you in this room are not financially where you want to be? Is there anybody that's not? Anybody that's where you are right now, you're happy where you are, you don't need any more, you don't want? Okay, no hands there at all. Good. Then you're in the right place. Otherwise, you're just coming to be entertained, and I'll try to say some funny things to entertain you, and we'll do some of that. But is it okay if we have an agreement before I get started, too, that I don't have to hold back? Bob told me these were the winners. I needed to, give them everything I got, right? I don't hold back at all. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, like I tell my team, okay? All right, then that's what we're going to do. Somebody's beeping. Okay. I'm going to give you a little Missouri farm boy logic. This is from my grandpa. He used to say this to me all the time. He says, son, there is no education in the second kick of the mule. And when he told me that when I was 8 and 9 years old, it didn't mean as much as when I was 12, 15, 18, and older. It's so true. There is no education second kick of the mule. But how many of you have been working at least 5 years for somebody else? Anybody here? 10? 15 years? 20? 25? Have you begun to see that, where I'm at is not where I want to be and not get me where I want to be? And so ultimately, that's what I decided 23 years of age when I got in this business, Alicia and I, is I already knew, and I don't know if it was fortune, luck, or what it was, I knew at 23 years old that was not where I wanted to be. I was an accountant. I was working for a major corporation. In college, when Alicia and I met, she asked me what was I going to be when I grew up. And I didn't know because I'd already gone through 6 majors. Not that I fulfilled 6 majors, but I figured out going into 6 different majors, I don't want to do that. And in business and accounting was process of elimination. I tried everything else, didn't like it. So that was the only one I could, because I was always hungry for business. I had Kool-Aid stands. I had a paper route. I mowed grass. 12 years old, I was always out there hitting it and going after it, something to make money. At age 14, I remember making the decision, I'll never ask my mom and dad for a dime again. Because we had 7 kids in our family. I was the second oldest, and I knew there wasn't a lot of money. And so I don't even know why. I just made the decision, I'm going to get whatever money I need so I never have to ask mom and dad for it. And I never did. College, I had a football scholarship, put myself through there. And my parents were always willing to help, but fortunately, I was always working. So I was in the looking zone. Even when I graduated, got a degree in accounting, went to work for a big corporation, I knew there was more I wanted out of there, and a corporate life was not where I want to be. So if you're not where you want to be financially, then we need to talk about how we're going to begin to get our thinking in the right direction. And as I said a few minutes ago, you already got great teachers in this business. I'm not going to teach you anything new about how to build the business or meet people. I'm maybe going to remind you of things you've forgotten. I'm maybe going to throw a little bit of that gasoline on there. But there is another old saying that is, there is no greater fool than to continue doing what you've been doing and expect a different result. And so many people I talk to go through their life and they're doing the same thing and it's not working, and they think, well, I'm just going to keep doing it and something will change. That's why this business gives you opportunities for you to make a dramatic change in the direction that your business, your financial life, and your personality is. Because I learned not being a people person. Alicia used to joke when we were dating, she'd take my chin and pull it up to look at her when I talked to her. Because when I talk to people, I didn't look. I wasn't a people person. I didn't have much confidence. You might see me up on stage and go, oh, wow, he's so easy. He was always that way. Still today, I say this all the time. If I walk into a large group of people, not in this business, and maybe at a business meeting or something else that I might be attending or function, I'm the guy that'll go stand over towards the back against the wall and smile, but I'm not an automatic, let's go meet people. But I'll sit there for a few minutes and I'll go, okay, you know how to do this. Go out there, shake some hands, meet some people, and I'll go do it. But I do it because I have learned how to do it, and I've learned how to motivate myself to get out there and do it. But if I didn't have a reason to do it, I know more people than I ever needed to know. If I never met another person, it'd be fine. I know thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But if there's a reason to, I will. And I just believe, coming from where I came from, I had no abilities for this business. Everything I've learned, everything I've become, I personally believe I learned it. So that's why I'm so convinced, standing up here tonight, if I did it, I know you could do it because I learned it. If I learned it, you can learn it too. You just have to have the drive and the desire and set some goals to be able to make that happen. So I do want to let you know some things about basics, though, and maybe you've heard this before, but I want you to understand, I've been taking a class recently. It's kind of an interesting class on reading people's minds. So I've been reading your minds here as I've been here for just a little while. Sir, we got a little bit of a problem with you. I'll talk to you later about that, okay? Here's what I want you to do, all right? Is it okay if I have fun with you? I'm going to tease some of you tonight, okay? All right, here's what I want you to do. Take a piece of paper in front of you. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 10. Write it down. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Now multiply that number by 9. Whatever the answer is. Okay? Whatever that number is, if it's a 2-digit number, add the 2 digits together. If it's a 1-digit number, just go with that. With me? Pick a number between 1 and 10, multiply by 9, 2-digit number, add the digits together. Now, from that answer, subtract the number 5. Okay? Now, take the corresponding number that is, and if it's 1, the letter A. If it's 2, the letter B. If it's 3, the letter C. If it's 4, the letter D. You with me? Okay? Now you got that answer. Now, think of a country that begins with that letter, whatever that letter is. Write it down. Now, take the last letter of that country's name and think of an animal that begins with that letter. Write it down. Now, take the last letter of the name of that animal. Name a fruit that begins with that letter. Now, here's how good my reading minds is. Most of you right now are thinking about a kangaroo eating an orange in Denmark. Am I good or what? There's certain things, guys, that I have learned that are absolutes. Certain laws that follow. If I have this marker, if I drop it, there's a law that says it's going to fall because of gravity, right? There's certain things in this business, certain things with people. Being as uncomfortable as I was about people, I didn't understand that there are certain rules and laws that work. There's certain reactions, plus and minus, that work. And there's little things, I'll talk more about it later, but simply having one of these on your face. A smile has an infinitely different reaction than if you don't. You can accomplish tremendous things learning to smile more. Well, for a guy that was an introvert, that's very melancholy, that always had his head down, the only time I was ever comfortable having my head up is when I had a helmet on and I could hit somebody playing football. But I learned that it pays really, really good to get good at working with people, at motivating people, at understanding people. It not only pays good, pays for a long time. For me, millions of dollars that we've made out of this business because an accountant that had little or no people skills learned how to work with people and learned people skills and learned not only the things I'm going to talk to you about, not only the benefits of business and making money, but every other aspect of my life. Dealing with my kids, dealing with my friends, dealing with business, dealing with a job when I still had it. It benefited everything you're learning in this business. It's not just to be able to go out and build an Amway business, not go out and build a business affiliated with MMP, but every other aspect of your life. If you will work to get good at this business, it will get you good at just about everything else in life if you allow it to apply. Now, being the logical accountant, though, I always wanted to look at it as a business. I worked for Mallinckrodt Corporation in St. Louis, which was a Fortune 500 company at the time, large chemical manufacturer and agricultural products and healthcare products. And working at a big corporation and the corporate mindset, but one of the things that I did, one of the jobs I had before I escaped was we were on an acquisition program to buy up other smaller businesses to make it a part of the big corporate conglomerate. And I was on the acquisition team to study other businesses and analyze them. Okay, is this a good business? Is this a good business model? Does it work good? Will it be good in the future? What would be your recommendations on whether we buy this or not? That was the team I was a part of. So it gave me a lot of experience to look at businesses and analyze them. Why are they good? Why are they not good? Are they going to be here 20, 30, 40 years from now? Are they not? And so when I sat and looked at this business, it was like, oh my gosh. It just hits all the markers of a perfect business. Not only the benefits of very low cost to get involved, 100% optional, but so you can work a day or night. You can go, as I've done at times, and show him the plan at 1 o'clock in the morning. Because that's when he was available, that's when I was available. Unbelievably flexible. You can work it 7 days a week if you want. You can work it 1 day a month. Your results are going to be the efforts that you put in. But unbelievably flexible. What a powerful business model. And looking at a business model, do we have products that people want? Yeah. How many billions and billions and billions a year have we done? 50, 80, 100 billion over the years? I don't know how much. It's a bunch. But people buy these products and they will reuse them. In a good economy, in a bad economy, do people buy our products? Do you still brush your teeth? Do you still wash your clothes? Guys, right now, tonight, at this minute, right now, I've already made money tomorrow. You know why? Because I have business in Japan. Millions of dollars a year business in Japan. And it's already morning on Sunday right now. And so there's already people up there brushing their teeth this morning. I've already made money in Japan, and I haven't got to tomorrow yet. What a concept. What a concept. Sometimes maybe you do. Maybe you have a great company that does that. Most don't. But in this business it does. So I want you to understand what you have in your hands. As a business model, you got a phenomenal model sitting there for you. Now, why would people want to do our business? Why would people? I have a graph that I put up, and I didn't bring the PowerPoint with me, but it shows a big neighborhood for overview of 1,000 homes in a neighborhood. And in that neighborhood, Walmart comes and puts a new store in and starts advertising. And their goal is to start getting some households there to come to Walmart to buy, right? That's what all stores do. And the goal is to get more and more people in advertising, and they'll tell people, new Walmart over here, whatever, to come buy there. You can buy from those stores the rest of your life, and it's not going to send your kids to college. It's not going to get your gal home from work if she's working. It's not going to get you the home or the car or the vacation you want to have. I just decided 40 years ago today, I looked at it and I said, that just makes sense. If I got to buy all this stuff anyway, then why not buy it from me? All I'm trying to do tonight more than anything else is get you to think. Think what you have in your hands and what you can do with it. If you're here tonight, as all of you raised your hands and said, I want to make more money, I'm not financially where I want to be, I want to begin to teach you some of the basic business concepts of why you have a tool in your hand, an engine, an ability to take what you have and go create what you want. 200, 300, 400 a month extra, make $5,000 a year. Hey, cool. Do you realize if all you do, I'll maybe talk a little bit later on the second round, but one of my dreams, one of the reasons I got in this business, I always wanted to own real estate. It was just a hot button for me. Growing up as a kid, I grew up in a 1,200 square foot home with 7 kids. First time I ever slept alone was after I got married. That'll hit some of you here in a minute, coming around. There we go. I mean, tell you, but you know what? I asked some of my siblings recently, I said, do you ever remember feeling like our house was really small or too crowded or there was just too doggone many people in this house? And none of us had that feeling. So, it's all what you grow up with, what mentally you prepare for. And, but yeah, 1,200 square foot house. I go back and look at that house now and I go, how did we do that? It was always interesting. There was always action at that household. But our business has what you need and what you want. Let me give you some reasons why there are people out there tonight asking the good Lord, please show me a way. Give me something. Help me. Because statistically, 50% of people working right now on a recent poll said they're not doing what they want to do. Credit card debt over $1 trillion in the U.S. You know that's because everybody loves to be in debt, right? I want to have 6 credit cards maxed out, right? The average consumer has 13 credit accounts, counting auto, credit cards, etc. Many people will not be able to retire until their 80s. Recently in Time magazine, 57% of Gallup poll said they're very concerned about the security of their job. Guys, we got a great economy. Lowest unemployment since who knows when. In many cases, many groups, lowest ever. But people are still not financially where they want to be. How do they get there? Any of your friends that are not in this business or aware of the business, if you walked up to them and said, man, I need to create an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month income. I'm looking to be a millionaire. How can you help me? What can we do? What do you know? What would most of your friends say? If they didn't know you were in the business, would they have an answer? I have not found any. Now, I got the benefit of 40 years that I can look back, and I know many of the people that were there at the corporate world that I was at, and I look at where they are today and where their life has been. I would not trade places with one single one of them. What we've been able to do, the freedom we've been able to have, the lifestyle, the travel, the friends. Guys, I'm not saying this business is the only way to make money and the only way to have success and the only way to have friends. I'm just saying I've never seen anything better. And my question is, have you? I doubt that you have. All right, I got about 3 hours of information. I got to fly through this here. Okay, so what's it going to take to get to that? Well, platinum is the first step. If you're already there, you need to be breaking platinums underneath you. But the key is, how do I get to platinum? Well, the simple answer is 7,500 PV. You do it 6 months, you're a qualified platinum. You do it 12 months, you're a Q12. Q12 averages, I think the company says, about $55,000, somewhere around there, of income that the average would make. $55,000. Anybody in here, that would be a major difference in your life if after today you were making $55,000 more? Would you get debt free pretty quick? Would you have a different lifestyle? Would you sleep better? Would every day of your life your health be better because you didn't worry about money as much? See, I've never been much of a materialist, ever. I've never been that big. I like nice cars. I've driven brand new Cadillacs off the showroom floor many, many times. There's a lot of nice things I have. We live in a very nice house, nice home. We have a very nice lifestyle. But money and material things in and by itself has never been that big a deal for me. But I told Alicia, day one, freedom. Freedom. That was what it was for me. To be able every morning, I told her this. In fact, we started dating at age 19. And she asked me, she said, what are you going to be when you grow up? I don't know what I'm going to grow up. I said, but someday I'm going to be able to get to the point where every morning I wake up and I get to decide what I want to do that day. And no man on earth will be able to tell me any different. Guys, I've been able to do that for about 37 years. To be able to get up and do what I want to do. Phenomenal business you have in your hand. Guys, would you wave or something? Because I'm rolling up here, so just tell me when I've reached the end of my time, and I'll end it there, okay? Here's what I want you to understand. Long before you get to platinum, you got to think, you got to talk, and you got to act like a platinum. See, long before I made 7,500 PV, I was platinum. It was in my mind. It was on my mirror. Some people say, oh, what do you mean? You printed it and pasted it up on your mirror. Yep, I did, and it worked. I'm just telling you, do it. Because every morning when you're brushing your teeth and you're looking at that mirror and you're looking at your face in there and you're looking at, I'm going to be a platinum, and you put the date on it. I challenge you to have the guts to put the date on and what you're going to do. You might say, well, gosh, I've been working this business for a while and it's just not worked the way I wanted it to work. I've just had a lot of failure. And guys, welcome to the club. Everybody that's ever made this business work had a lot of failures. There are many. You know what I did? We got in. We went to 100 PV. We went to 300 PV. We went to 600. We went to 1,000. We went to 1,500. We went to 2,500 PV. We went to 15. We went to 1,000. Any of you ever played musical notes on the bonus scale? I was so stinking frustrated. Every time I'd come to a function, I was mad. I was mad. I wanted to be mad at the speaker or my upline or somebody, but I had to be honest and realize it was me. And I kept, every time I'd come to a meeting like this and say, what do I got to change? What do I got to change to get where I want to be? Well, you're asking people to do things you're not doing. Ugh, that means I got to get uncomfortable. Right. So I got to where I would get people to go with me. I said, come on, let's go out prospecting together. What are we going to do prospect? We're going out and have fun. Just meet people while we're doing it. I never went out to get anybody. I just went out to have fun and met people while we were doing it. And it wasn't easy at first, but I kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And guess what? Just like almost everything, the more you do it, the easier it is. I had a deathly fear of getting up and speaking in front of people. Alicia in college got up in a speech class before a big group, probably 1,000 in the school body, to speak because she had won in her classroom, and she froze in front of them, almost where we had to physically pick her up and carry her off the stage. She totally froze. She swore then, I'll never get up on stage in front of people again. I got this business, and she went to the first function, and she looked at that, and she looked at me and said, you better not ever make me do that. And yet Jody calls her one of the best female speakers in the business. You know, what awesome. Because you're in an environment of people that are going to help you, encourage you. More than anything I've ever seen in 40 years of my experience with people. I mean, how many times does your job pick you up, lift you up, build you up, and want your success? I hope you have one that's like that. I know most people don't. I know most people go there and they might get a review annually and, okay, did you do it good enough to get an increase or a bonus or something? But you know what? No matter what you did last month, at the beginning of the next month, it's, okay, what have you done for me lately? In your own business, you get to measure those things to get it there. Okay, when was the last time you set goals with your coach? When was the last time you set goals with your team? You know why you don't? I'll tell you why you don't. Because then you're committed. Then it's, oh my gosh, I've actually said what I'm going to do. That means today, tomorrow, I got to do something towards that. And that's exactly why you do it. And remember advertising. When does Walmart quit advertising? Never. Never. So with your business, just get in the habit of advertising all the time. How many have ever got phone calls in the last week of somebody trying to sell you something, called your home or cell phone? All of us do. That is practice. We call it cannon fodder. You know, they'd send the troops that weren't as good charging first into the cannon so the better troops that wouldn't get mowed down would be able to have more success. So cannon fodder is kind of a term we'd use. Every time they call, it's like prospecting opportunity. I mean, if somebody calls you, go, well, what would I say to somebody who just calls? Whatever you want. You don't know them. So somebody called and I go, whoa, you got a little bit of an accent. Where are you from? Arkansas. Really? I got a business I'm looking to expand to Arkansas. Where do you live in Arkansas? Ladies and gentlemen, is there anybody anywhere in the world you don't have a business you want to expand there? Every single one. No matter who, anywhere, you can always ask simple questions like that because you are in a marketing business. And you own that business, and you can go ask anybody you want. And you know the worst they can say? No! That's the worst. And usually they're not gutsy enough to say it that loud. No. No. And what I want to tell you about is, what is it worth? I don't know what it's worth to you to get uncomfortable. Again, I know some of you have been around for a while. Some of you are sitting here tonight going, why am I here? Why do I have to be here? This is money. This is Ben Franklin's right here. Here's the question I'd have. I don't care who you are, how long you've been in the business, how short you've been in the business. How many of you, if I would pay you a $100 bill, could meet somebody in the next 30 minutes? Could anybody do that for $100? Okay, a lot of hands in here. Okay. So if I increase that to $200, anybody could do that? 200? How about 300? All right, anybody in here that would not do it for 400? $400? You wouldn't or would? Oh, you would. Okay, well, how about $500? 5 Ben Franklins right here. If you'll go meet somebody in the next 15 minutes. Could I clear this room out and have everybody go out and meet somebody in the, whatever one of you be, for $500? I don't believe money's the most important thing in the world, but $500, that's pretty darn exciting. So if I give you that 500, will you go meet one person? If all you did was meet one person a day. Let me show you something. Again, numbers guy. That's all I am, numbers. Makes sense, right? And I've learned how to make that money pay for me. So would it be safe to assume everybody in this room would like to be a platinum? Would it be safe to assume that? $55,000 a year. Let's make it simple. Let's say $50,000 a year as a platinum. Okay? What's it going to take to get to $50,000 income? You're going to need to be 7,500 PV, right? Okay, we all know that. 7,500 PV, 12 months, you're going to be average $55,000. How do you get 7,500 PV? People, all right? I don't know what your upline teaches you, but let's just take a round number and say 100 IBOs it's going to take to get to that. Now, if you look at the current plan that MMP is going to be teaching, 6 legs, each getting 3, everybody averaging 300 PV. 6 legs, each having 3 additional. That's 1,200 per leg. 6 legs, 7,200 plus you is 7,500. So what's it going to take to find 6 legs? Well, to get 100 IBOs, you're probably, my guess would be, going to need somewhere around 15 to 18 personally sponsored people. And that's going to, out of that, find those 6. You may say, well, I've got 18 and I'm not there. Okay, you're one of them that isn't. I have other people that did it with 8. All right, doesn't make any difference. We're just going for what is it worth to you? What is the average? And to get 15 to 18 people sponsored, how many people are you going to have to prospect? I don't know. Let's say your success rate to actually get people on board, you don't get that many, let's say 100. You have to prospect or call 100 people over the next 30, 60, 90, 120, 6 months, year, whatever. You got to prospect 100 people. You got to go out and meet somebody in the hall or on the way home or at the gas station. You got to prospect 100 to find 15 to 18. Those 15 to 18 are going to produce a team of 100 IBOs. The 100 IBOs will do 7,500 PV. The 7,500 PV equals $50,000. Here's my question to you. Who's good at math? 100 divided into 50,000 equals how much every time you opened your mouth? $500. Ladies and gentlemen, you're paid $500 every time you open your mouth. You prospect somebody and they go, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm interested. Appreciate the $500 anyway. The guy said to me, no, you don't understand. I'm not interested. Yeah, that's fine. I still made $500. Appreciate it. If nothing else, it makes you feel good. But a lot of times they'll go, wait a minute. I'm not interested and you made $500 just for calling me? Yep. How'd you do that? Tuesday night webinar, Bob Covino. I'll show you all about it. $500. That's what numbers made sense to me then. It was like, okay, I can do that. I don't care if they say no. $500. Next. I didn't care. All I wanted to do was get to the end result. And if this was the formula to get there, you might say, well, what if it takes me 200 people? You made $250 every time you open your mouth. You are going to get it. You're going to make it. And we're excited about you doing that. And we'll be back up here in a little bit. Done for the first round. Thanks, guys.
This is a copyright